Learning to invest is like learning to speak a new language, and many people find investing and personal finance confusing because of the terminologies used. I've had my friends come to me with the most bizarre queries around investing, so I thought of making some of these terminologies a little bit easier for you in this episode. Would this video make you a millionaire by teaching you all about investing? The answer is no. Would this video give you a starting point to become one? Absolutely. Hello everyone, I'm Sakshi Sudhani, a second year PGDM student of SPJIMR Mumbai and a qualified chartered accountant and company secretary. I will take you through a few concepts of finance that you will need to know in the near future to make the optimum use of your hard-earned money. To the video, a quick announcement about a program that can help you learn about the world of finance better. Inside IIM and All-Tuni has come up with a dedicated program named Finance Career Pro, where you can learn from the best in the industry. More about the program would be discussed later in the video. Now, let's get back to these concepts. To help ensure that you're savvy about your own finances, here's a list of top 10 key terms that you should know. Let us now begin with a story. Say you have 10 lakh worth of assets and you owe 6 lakhs to your friend Mr. A. The first term that you'll be looking at is net worth. Your net worth, quite simply, is the amount of assets minus all your debts. So, if you have 10 lakh worth of assets and 6 lakhs is borrowed, 4 lakh is your net worth. It essentially is the value of an entity and can apply to individuals, corporations, sectors, and even countries. Net worth provides a snapshot of the entity's current financial position. In businesses, net worth is also known as shareholders' equity. People with a substantial amount of net worth are known as high net worth individuals. It is possible to have a negative net worth as well. If the sum of an individual's credit card bills, utility bills, loans, mortgages is higher than the amount of cash, investments, and other assets, then that person's net worth will be negative. Moving on, let's discuss the next terminology that we have. Continuing with the same example, we all know now that we have 10 lakh worth of assets and that it is not wise to keep all your eggs in one basket. It is always better to diversify your investments and your income sources. So, from the 10 lakh discussed above, say you have 5 lakhs worth car, 2 lakh in stocks, 1 lakh in bank FD, a lakh in gold and 1 lakh cash. Well, that is your asset allocation and that can differ from person to person depending on the requirements and a few other factors. Asset allocation essentially is an investment strategy that aims to balance the risk and reward by apportioning a portfolio of assets according to the company or individual's goals, risk tolerance and investment horizon. Now, what is a portfolio? It is a collection of investment instruments like stocks, bonds, cash, commodities. Coming to our next term, which is portfolio rebalancing. Why rebalancing? Rebalancing ensures that your portfolio is in line with your investment goals despite market movements. It helps ensure that your portfolio keeps serving your long-term goals. Moving with the same numbers that we discussed, you had 10 lakh worth assets and you had 5 lakh worth car. You decided to do away with the car, say because of rising fuel prices or maintenance costs. Well, that is you trying to rebalance your portfolio, which is essentially realigning the weightages of assets, periodically buying and selling assets in your portfolio to reach your desired level of return as well as maintaining a level of risk. Now, we just decided to sell our car. The car was worth 5 lakhs. Since you used it, you might have to actually sell it for like 2 lakhs. But what if the car is vintage? That car can be sold for maybe like 25 lakhs. On that car, you'll get a capital gains, which is taxable. This is our next term. Capital gains refers to an appreciation in the value of assets which is realized when the asset is sold. It can be short term or long term, and it is taxable in both cases. Talking about our 5 lakhs car again, we know that sale price is also determined by the demand. So if you have a lot of buyers for the car, you can get a better deal out of it. Now, we also have an urge to bargain prices. This disparity between the price offered and accepted is subjected to negotiation. Similarly, in financial markets, there is something called the bid-ask spread. A bid-ask spread is a difference between the asking price and the offering price of a security. Typically, a security with a narrow bid-ask spread will have high demand. By contrast, a security with a wide bid-ask spread may illustrate low volume of demand. So, when the car is sold, the disparity between what you're asking for and what you're being offered is the spread. Taking another example, consider the following. Where a trader is looking to purchase say 100 shares of A Limited for 50 rupees, but those 100 shares are being offered in the market for 50.5. Well, that 0.5 is the spread. While this spread might seem very small and insignificant, on large trades it can create a meaningful difference. Now that we've sold our car, rebalanced our portfolio and booked our profits, let us look at some other market related concepts that we might need to take care of.
ओल्ड स्कूल हो या न्यू स्कूल, सबके सिलेबस में एक सब्जेक्ट कॉमन होता है, प्रॉफिट, और वो मेरा फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट है.
You must have heard this dialogue. Asset allocation, ratios, earnings, let's face it, the world of investment is rife with choices, complexities and foreign jargons. There are, however, two investment phrases that may be more familiar to you: bull and bear markets. While both are used to describe how the markets are performing, they are entirely different animals when it comes to the impact it can have on your portfolio. A bull market is a market that is on the rise and when the economy is sound, while a bear market exists when the economy is receding and stocks are declining in value. Currently, the market is experiencing a bull run with Sensex and Nifty at its all-time high. Essentially, bulls are optimistic about the market, bears are pessimistic. Because there are many differences between bull and bear markets, the way you make investment decisions vary greatly. Having a higher allocation of stocks is optimal in a bull market when there is potential for higher returns. However, you may have recency bias that the market will continue to rise and you may take up more risk than is prudent. On the contrary, in a down market, you may act on fear and take rash decisions such as leaving the market. Coming to our next terminology, India is currently experiencing an IPO boom. Well, what is an IPO? What does an FPO mean? It all began with Zomato, which was recently welcomed by investors with open arms. And over the next 12 to 18 months, we saw and are going to see noteworthy names making headlines in the Dalal Street. A few of them are Nykaa, Policybazaar, Delhivery, and of course Paytm. An initial public offering refers to the process of offering shares of a private corporation to the public. An IPO allows a company to raise capital from public investors. A follow-on offering is an issuance of additional shares made by the company after an IPO. Here, Zomato, Nykaa, all these are examples of IPOs. Ruchi Soya, which was recently acquired by Patanjali, is looking for an FPO this month. The entire issue proceeds would be used in furthering the company's business and also repaying certain loans. This is a further public offer. Our next terminology is market capitalization. Market capitalization refers to the total market value of a company's outstanding shares. It is calculated by multiplying the total number of shares that the company has outstanding and the current market price of one share. As an example, a company with say 10 million shares selling for rupees 100 each would have a market cap of rupees 100 crore. So during Zomato's IPO in July, the listing premium was so high that it crossed 1 lakh crore on its first day. The market capitalization of a company can give an investor the indication of the size of the company and can even be used to compare one company to another. Next, let's look at volatility. People use the term volatility in place of risk quite often. Volatility is essentially related to uncertainty in terms of market going up or down. It is a statistical measure of disparity of returns for a given security or market index. A high volatility means stock price is moving a lot. Even the best trader in the world would not make money with a constant price stock. In the long term, volatility is beneficial for a trader because it gives it opportunity. For example, when the stock price rises or falls more than 1% over a sustained period of time, it is called a volatile market. Talking about earlier this week, Zee Entertainment's price jumped more than 50% post the removal of its director and investment by Jhunjhunwala. Its jump was the highest since it started trading in 1993. Well, that is volatility. Coming to our last term for this episode, short selling. Short selling is the opposite of what we usually do. We generally buy at a low price, then sell at a high price when it rises and make our profits. Here, an investor borrows the stock first, sells it, then buys the stock back and returns to the lender. So when the prices are high, he sells it. When the prices fall, he buys it and balances the trade. Short selling was actually banned by RBI post the Harshad Mehta scam in 1992. It was reintroduced in 2006 with new norms. The main mantra remains the same: you buy low, sell high, book your profits. Short sellers are betting that the stock price is going to fall in the future. If stock price does drop after selling, then short seller buys back at a lower price, returns it to the lender, and the difference is the profit that he makes. I hope that the 10 terms that we just discussed got you as excited about the market as I am. To learn more about such concepts in details and get a better idea about the world of finance and investment banking, register yourself for the Finance Career Pro program by Inside IIM and Altuni. It will help you learn about the mechanics of finance, investment banking, along with some very important concepts and domains taught by IMA, B, I and XLRI alumni who worked with marquee companies in the past. Understand investment banking, learn about different stocks and the future of finance careers. Also learn how to apply the financial management concepts through this program. If you're interested in Finance Career Pro, enroll yourself today. The link is in the description. We hope you found these terms useful and that it will help you start learning about investing. Don't forget to like and share this video. I'll be coming with more such content from the world of investing and finance.